Welcome, Psych students, to Unit 5, which is about the states of consciousness. So in this unit, we're going to be talking about dreams, sleep, sleep deprivation, sleep theories, different states of consciousness and hypnosis, as well as psychoactive drugs by Friday. So Monday should be about Module 22, which is understanding states of consciousness, and asking you some questions about hypnosis. Your learning objectives today are to be able to describe the place of consciousness in psychology's history, to know a definition of hypnosis and what it's used for today, and whether hypnosis is an extension of a normal state of consciousness or if it's considered an altered state. Okay, I'm sure that you guys have all seen hypnosis done on TV shows, or maybe you've even experienced a hypnotist come and work a crowd. And last year, of course, I had a hypnotist come to our classroom, but unfortunately our situation just doesn't allow for that this year. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. What do you think? Do you think that you can be hypnotized against your will? Well, despite stories about people being hypnotized without their consent or permission, hypnosis actually requires that your brain be open to the idea. I don't know, you can be hypnotized when you're not intentionally the subject that's seeking hypnotism. However, your brain has to be open to it in order for it to work. How about this? Hypnosis can make you strong, fast, athletically talented. I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but my son's soccer team brought in a sports psychologist that worked on meditation and altered states and hypnotism. And while it can enhance your performance, it certainly cannot make your body physically stronger. It can make a more disciplined mindset, though, so that you would be more inclined to make your own body stronger and faster. Hypnotism, though, can be really good for treating chronic pain. It can be used to put yourself in an altered state during childbirth. For example, I had a midwife that worked on this with me, and I gave birth naturally for both my kids, and one was almost 9 pounds. And so you can control your pain through hypnotic practice to a degree. Still hurts. Here are a couple of other things. Cancer patients, controlling pain in general. Alleviating symptoms for a variety of different ailments. Okay. We're going to skip over this part because we just don't have time in a recorded lesson, but I do wonder if you've ever been driving and found yourself so lost in thought that you missed an exit, headed someplace like home when you weren't supposed to be going there, done something that you have done so many times that you weren't even thinking about it while you did it anymore. I'm sure you've had these experiences, and if you did, you were actually in an altered state when you did them. Okay, away we go. So most psychologists now define consciousness as our awareness of ourselves and our environment. An awareness of ourselves and our environment. As we saw in Module 13, our conscious awareness is one part of the dual processing that goes on in our two-track minds. Although much of our information processing is conscious, much is unconscious and automatic, which ends up happening outside of our awareness. Module 16 highlighted our selective attention, which directs the spotlight of our awareness, allowing us to assemble information from many sources as we reflect on our past and plan for our future. We're also attentive when we learn a complex concept or behavior. When learning how to ride a bike, we focus on obstacles that we have to steer around or how to use the brakes. With practice, though, riding a bike becomes semi-automatic, freeing us to focus our attention on other things. As we do, we experience what early psychologist William James calls a continuous stream of consciousness, with each moment flowing into the next. Over time, we actually begin to flit between different states of consciousness, which can include sleeping, waking, and a variety of other altered states. Here are some of the states of consciousness, and some of them can actually occur simultaneously with one another. So daydreaming, drowsiness, regular dreaming at night. Some states of consciousness are physiologically induced, like hallucinations or orgasm, or being deprived of food or oxygen can put you in a different state of consciousness. And others are psychologically induced, like sensory deprivation. I don't know if you've ever experienced those pods. There's sensory deprivation pods now. Hypnosis and meditation are also psychologically induced states of consciousness. And a lot of people are practicing hypnosis and meditation. Meditation seems a whole lot like hypnosis to me. I study meditation 3 times a week now. Hypnosis. Imagine that you're about to be hypnotized. The hypnotist invites you to sit back, fix your gaze on a spot high on the wall, and relax. And in a quiet voice, the hypnotist suggests that your eyes are growing tired. Your eyelids are becoming heavy, heavier and heavier. They are beginning to close. You're becoming deeply relaxed. Your breathing is now deep and regular, and your muscles are becoming more and more relaxed. Your whole body is beginning to feel like lead. And after a few minutes of this hypnotic induction, it's called, you might experience hypnosis. When a hypnosis suggests your eyelids are shutting so tight that you cannot open them even if you try, it might indeed seem beyond your control to open your eyelids. Told to forget the number 6, you might be puzzled when you count to 11 fingers on your hand. Invited to smell a sensuous perfume that is actually ammonia, you might linger delightedly over its pungent odor. Told that you can't see a certain object, such as a chair, you may indeed report that it's not there. But is hypnosis really an altered state of consciousness? We're going to start with some questions. So first of all, to some extent, we are all open to suggestion. And when people stand upright with their eyes closed and are told that they're swaying back and forth, most indeed will sway a little. In fact, we've had this is one of the experiments we would be doing in class. It's called postural sway. And all you have to do is stand somebody up, close their eyes, and suggest it. And most people will actually start to sway. Highly hypnotizable people, which is about 20% of the population, who can carry out a suggestion not to smell or react to a bottle of ammonia, like serious reactions, typically become so deeply absorbed in imaginative activities that they have a hypnotic ability, it's called. Those people are extremely susceptible to hypnotism. Most people believe wrongly, though, that our experiences are all in there, recorded in our brain and available for recall. But 60 years of memory research disputes all of that. We don't encode everything that occurs around us. We permanently store only some of our experiences, and we might be unable to retrieve some memories that we have stored. However, hypnotically refreshed memories, combined fact with fiction, can be kind of dangerous. So should testimony, I'm going to skip the testimony part. So can hypnosis force people to act against their will? Researchers have induced hypnotized people to perform apparently kind of dangerous acts, like plunging one hand briefly into fuming acid, even though it wasn't really acid. Interviewed a day later, these people emphatically denied their acts and said that they would never have done such things, even though they actually did. Can it be therapeutic? Hypnotherapists do try to help patients harness their own healing powers. It has been used to alleviate headaches, asthma, stress-related skin disorders. In one statistical digest of 18 studies, the average client whose therapy was supplemented with hypnosis showed a greater improvement than 70% of the other therapy patients. It has been said that it can relieve pain as well. Hypnosis as a social phenomenon. So our attentional spotlight and interpretations powerfully influence our ordinary perceptions. So might hypnotic phenomena just reflect such workings of normal consciousness, as well as the power of social influence? Advocates of the social influence theory of hypnosis believe they do. So does this mean that subjects kind of consciously fake hypnosis? No, like actors caught up in their roles, they begin to feel and behave in ways appropriate for good hypnotic subjects. So the more they like and trust their hypnotist, the more they allow that person to direct their attention and their fantasy. The hypnotist's ideas become the subject's thoughts, and the subject's thoughts produce the hypnotic experience in behaviors. Told to scratch their ear later when they hear the word psychology, subjects will likely do so, but only if they think the experiment is still underway. If the experimenter eliminates their motivation for acting hypnotized by stating that hypnosis reveals their gullibility, then suddenly subjects become unresponsive. And these are examples of social influence theory and how it matters how people feel about their hypnotist. Ernest Hilgard, however, has another theory. He believes hypnosis involves not only social influence, but also a special dual processing state of disassociation. Disassociation is a split between different levels of consciousness, and Hilgard viewed hypnotic disassociation as a vivid form of everyday mind splits, similar to kind of doodling while listening to a lecture or typing the end of a sentence while starting a conversation. Hilgard felt that when, for example, hypnotized people lower their arm into an ice bath, the hypnosis disassociates the sensation of pain stimulus, of which the subjects are still aware, from the emotional suffering that defines their experience of pain. The ice water, therefore, feels cold, very cold, but not painful. Another form of dual processing, selective attention, which you should remember and be familiar with from the last unit, may also play a role in hypnotic pain relief. PET scans show that hypnosis reduces brain activity in a region that processes painful stimuli, but not in the sensory cortex, which receives the raw sensory input. Hypnosis does not block sensory input, but it may block our attention to these stimuli. This helps explain why an injured athlete caught up in the competition might feel little or no pain until the competition is actually over. Although the divided consciousness theory of hypnosis is controversial, this much seems clear. There is, without doubt, much more to thinking and acting than we are conscious of. Our information processing, which starts at the biological level, which you can see in front of you, it starts with selective attention, and it's divided into simultaneous conscious and non-conscious realms. Other influences that we've already talked about are psychological influences, how open you are, how focused you are and engaged, what your expectations are, and social and cultural influences include the person who's actually trying to hypnotize you and whether you buy what they have to say or not, and whether you trust that person. Okay, so in the next unit we're going to talk about sleep. I'll have you run a sleep survey in just a little bit to see what your sleep patterns are like. If you could please think back to what your regular school day before all of this happened, those sleep schedules would be best for the survey results. Thank you.